Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back after about 4,000 years to the next episode of the GeniusCast Season 4. It's been a couple months. I'd say the last episode was probably by late February with Luigi Aiden. I would say that probably my move into my new house probably caused a bit of that delay, but also because I just couldn't find the time to find anybody and talk to anybody for a while. But we're back today, and hopefully it won't be another 2 months before we do episode 5. So we're coming back with a bang. We're talking to, how would you like to be referred to, Steak or Alex?
Alex is fine.
Okay, we'll go with Alex. There is no Steak, aka Alex. Alex is a big part of the Tubbyland Archives series, and she is also making the running in the 80s reboot called the Cog Forever Spinning, along with other games along that lineup. And yeah, we're gonna be asking her some questions. We have a lot built up through Twitter and Discord and the community tab. If you guys would like to ask questions for future episodes, be sure to keep an eye out for, you know, all of those social media things in the future. But Alex, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. Bear with me. I didn't really have like a script for this. But yeah, hi. I do stuff. I've been in this. I've been working on games since. Well, I've been more so developing things since I was maybe 11, but I didn't really get into fan game development until 2018. And and then since 2021, I started actually trying to program my own stuff. And ever since, I've just kind of gone from there. And as of right now, I'm currently working on, as you mentioned, the Tubbyland Archives, the Cog Forever Spinning. I am also currently working on a pretty big collaboration project with a friend called Chica's Party World Rebaked, which is a remake of the game by the same name that was being worked on in 2018 but never came out fully. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really much to me. I mostly just do game development, but occasionally I do like art on the side, voice acting, modeling, and yeah.
Cool. Well, we might learn a little bit more about you along the way through these questions.
Hopefully.
We have a good selection of things from what I've been reading. I was looking through the questions earlier, and people are asking some good stuff. So, all right, we're gonna dive in if you're ready to go.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so as the norm, we're going to start with our community tab questions. Our first one is from Jamada Vormations. Is there a meaning to themes within the Tubbyland games? What I mean is that the Tubbies always have the same theme. Lala headless, Poe is blind, Tinky is legless, and Dipsy is technical. Is there a meaning behind that?
No. So the reason why that exists is because, well, that's just how they are in Tubbyland 1. But for Act 2 specifically, since it's for the most part, the game is nightmares based on Parker's experience in the first game, so obviously the designs are going to be reflective of the characters in the first game, and so that's why the characters look the way they do. So obviously Poe keeps the whole blind shtick, even though she has eyes sometimes. Tinky has no legs, Lala has the no head thing, and Dipsy, it has like his eye hanging out and everything. And yeah. So there's nothing else to it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, our next one is from Cubby. Once you're done with the Tubbyland Archives and running in the 80s remastered, do you plan on making original games or keep making fan games? And also, what inspired the name Theresnosteak?
Okay, so these are two very fun questions. I guess I'll start with the first, or the second one, since that's one I like answering a lot. So basically the name Theresnosteak, like where that came from is, so I back when I started on like DeviantArt and stuff, I was trying to come up with a username, and my mom's old Xbox username was There Is No Bacon, so I was like, maybe I should follow along her footsteps and use a similar name, and so I just used the exact same name with a different type of meat. And it kind of just went from there, and over time it's simplified to just There's No Steak instead of There Is No Steak 01. But yeah, that's that. And As for the original projects question, I'm definitely still going to be working on fan games. Right now, I'm in the process of planning not necessarily a remake, but I'm more so in the process of finishing automation reanimation. I've been heavily planning that and stuff, and it's going very well so far. But as for original projects, I don't have any ideas for original projects as it is right now, and I've already got a lot on my plate as it is, so that's definitely going to have to wait. But fan games, yes, absolutely.
Cool, cool. I'm interested to see what you make in the future. And I was not expecting the origin of Theresnosteak to be from,
yeah,
from
no,
an
there's a lot
Xbox
to
name.
it.
From an Xbox name out of all things. That's definitely not what I would have expected, but...
I'm pretty sure it was even, like, randomly generated, too. So it's like, like, of all things. But, yeah, that's where that comes from. It's got kind of a backstory to it, which I think is fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's pretty interesting, actually. So, all right, our next one is from Adriana Konska. Okay, they have 6 questions. So, okay,
oh, wow.
let's
let's
go through each of them. Okay, so, I guess I don't know if this is the English might not be their first language, so I'm gonna bear with this here. I think they're asking how are the progress of your games going. I think that's what they're trying to ask.
Okay, so the Cog Forever Spinning, I'd say, is about 50 to 60% done right now. The main gameplay of it is finished. I more so just need to start working on everything else. Chica's Party World is, I want to say, about maybe 70 to 80% done. That game is definitely coming soon.
Ooh.
Me and Rose finally just finished the main gameplay for it, outside of one specific thing, which is just a specific character's voice lines. But that game is coming very soon. Definitely very soon. We're probably going to begin the testing phase in maybe a few weeks. And once that comes around, yeah. And as for Act 2, that's definitely still going to be in the cooker for a while. We've been kind of stagnant with that one just because of things happening. It's been kind of a rocky development cycle, but we're still pretty confident in getting it done. So we're just taking it slow with that one. But as for the other things, yeah, Cog and Chica are making very good progress. But yeah.
Cool. I'm looking forward to the Chica's game. That sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
I think you'll really like it. I'm very excited for people to enjoy, or well, not necessarily enjoy it. Everyone has different tastes. Not everyone's gonna like it, obviously. But I'm still excited for people to play it regardless.
Mm-hmm. All right. The next question is: who is the yellow eye animatronic in the header of your Game Jolt page?
I will say it's related to automation reanimation. That is all you're getting.
Okay, so a lot of it's confidential.
Yeah, I mean, it's not anything huge, but like who that is not anything huge. But I like speculation.
Yeah, understandable. All right, next one is how did you get to be a voice actress in fan games?
Oh god. So it kind of started out as like I just commented at god, this was back in like 2018, but I just commented under like random fan games that needed voice work, and that's how I kind of got my start. And where things really kicked off was when I met one of my best friends, Demko, or I still don't know how to pronounce his name fully. I think it's Demku or Demko, but I'll just call him Dan. But basically, things really kicked off from there, because that's when I started voicing in Pyro Illusion, which that's still my favorite role that I've done. And ever since, it's just kind of gone up from there. The more friends I made, the more projects I partook in, and yeah, it's not anything too huge. But yeah.
Gotcha. And the next one is, why is Spring Bunny called Jackrabbit in Cog Forever Spinning?
The reason why he's called Jackrabbit is because so that idea came from my friend Rusty, if I remember correctly. And the reason why he's called that is because the name Spring Bonnie makes no fucking sense. Because, like... So, here's the way I see it. If you're gonna call Spring Bonnie, you need to call Fredbear Spring Fredbear, because the spring is not actually part of the name, it's the animatronic prefix. That's the type of animatronic it is. And we wanted to give him a name that actually resembled Fredbear's more. And so Jackrabbit was kind of the obvious choice with that, because it's like, oh, it's a name and the type of animal, just like how Fredbear's name is Fred and Bear, so it's like, you know, Fred and Jackrabbit and Fredbear. So, yeah.
Gotcha. That's you know, that's a really good point. I mean, like, I never even thought of it that way, but yeah, like
the name Spring Bonnie makes no fucking sense.
No, no, it doesn't. So then that's understandable. All right, the next one is: will there be more characters in Five Nights at Wario's They're Alive?
Yes, it is going to be more than just the original 5. One of which was already revealed, which is Toad. And I think that's actually it. I think it's just the original 5 and Toad. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've worked on the project. I don't remember if I planned any other characters. I don't think I did, though. But yeah, I think it's just the original 5 and Toad. So yes, technically there is, but not much.
Gotcha. I had forgotten that. Yeah, you'd mentioned that a while back. You
yeah, I completely forgot to mention They're Alive. Shoot.
Yeah,
it's been so long since I've worked on it.
Yeah, and you were showing me in Fusion like a screenshot from it, and Toad looks legitimately terrifying. And so
yeah,
like
my girlfriend Lauren is doing the character models for that, so that's fun.
Well, she sounds pretty talented, considering that was a really good Toad model.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and mentioning Fusion, I meant to mention him at the beginning of this episode. Like, he was actually the reason why like you and I got in contact. And,
oh God, yeah.
Yeah. And
thank you, Fusion.
yeah, Fusion, if you're listening, thank you. But yeah, and that's when I came to find out, you know, after all these years, you had actually been like a fan of the channel, and like I didn't even know it, like, but yeah, thanks to Fusion, he brought us together, so we're in contact now. So very good for that. All right, and our last one from Adriana is: will PTLD 93 be in Tubbyland Act 2?
Yes, very much yes.
Awesome.
He's going to be in every single game.
Oh, okay, so a reoccurring villain.
I wouldn't really call him a villain, but yes.
Okay, I mean, what should he correctly be referred to as if he's not exactly a villain?
More so, reoccurring antagonist.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Yeah,
because he's not a villain, but he's very much an antagonist.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. All right, well, we'll look forward to more of him in Act 2. All right, our next one is from, I still do not know how to pronounce this guy's name. He has been in a lot of my streams, and every time he appears in the chat, I feel like I mispronounce his name. We're going to try to get it here. I think it's Joao Victor Almeida. So here's a question for Theresnosteak. Do you love Five Nights at Tubbyland because you have loved the Teletubbies in the past?
No, actually, believe it or not, Tubbyland is what got me into Teletubbies. I never really watched it when I was younger. Obviously, I saw a few episodes, but I never really got into it. Tubbyland is actually what got me into it, which I think is really funny. And it's really surreal that I get to be part of, you know, bringing back the series, because originally, like, so a lot of people know this, but I made a fan-made remake called Tubbyland Act 1 Rebuilt, which was my first ever project that I coded. And that surprisingly got a lot of traction, and that led to some connections being made. And that led me to meeting Chrissy, who is also my girlfriend. And eventually we were just kind of like, fuck it, let's bring it back, like, properly. And so that also led to us bringing on Pigsty, and it just kind of went from there. So I kind of answered 2 questions in one there, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Also, sorry if I talk really fast.
No, it's fine.
I've got kind of a little bit of adrenaline from this, so.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I always kind of find it flattering that people like get nervous doing these things, 'cause I see myself as such a laid back guy doing this stuff.
Well, you've been doing this for a long time. I haven't done an interview like this since like 2020. So
Yeah, I think also my real life job also adds to this. I work as a newspaper, journalist, and so
yeah, exactly.
I interview
You're used
people
to
all
this.
day. Yeah, so I have this has been my profession for the past 3 years. So, but yeah, it's fun. It's made me into a people person, to say the least.
Also, how's that going for you right now?
It's good. The only issue with it is that they're just not paying me enough. I gotta find something else to make more money. But besides that, it's been a good job. Yeah, I know. It's I interviewed with a couple other newspapers, and I've been job hunting for the past month or two. So fingers crossed, I'm able to land something that pays a little more at least.
Yeah.
All right, our last one on the community tab is from Player. What inspired the Tubbyland games?
That's a very not specific question.
I meant like I guess the Tubbyland Archives. I think that's what he's referring to.
So what inspired the Tubbyland Archives? Well, we basically just wanted to make a more coherent version of the story. There's not really much else to it, because we not only did we want to remake the original games, we also just wanted to make a much more coherent version of the story. Because the story in Archives is actually the same as the original games, just heavily cleaned up with a lot of fixed plot holes. So, like, things like, which some people think this is a joke, but it's actually entirely serious. Things like, the reason why Nunu kills people is because Tubbyland is a cannibalism cover-up, but that is entirely serious. That is actually part of the lore. But, yeah, it's mostly just because we wanted to remake the games and fix the, plot holes with the original and stuff. And, things like Poe being the character for basically, or Poe being the main character for basically no reason. PTLD having more of a, there's more backstory to him in this. He has a reason to be there. He doesn't just manifest himself out of nowhere like he does with the original. Unless there was a reason, in which case I forgot. But, yeah.
I am grateful for that, because with the story being cleaned up, because I played the original trilogy back in 2017, and like I could not understand a thing of what was going on. Like after
technically quadrilogy, because I guess you can kind of count Tubbyland Return revamp. But
I played that too. Yeah,
that's both official and also not. It's in kind of a weird limbo state. It's same limbo state that's with Tubbyland Act 1 Rebuilt, because it was kind of official, kind of not. But, yeah.
Right. But I appreciate that y'all are making the story a lot more clear this time around, because, again, I was so confused with the original games. I had no idea what was going on.
Mm-hmm. And a big thing is, like, we definitely have the benefit of foresight, because now that we know what we're, now that we know what we're getting into, we can plan everything ahead, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already have beats for Acts 3 and 4 planned way ahead of that. Like, we're not even at that point in development yet, but we already have, like, major story beats planned for those. So.
Great. Awesome. Okay, Let's move on to Twitter. Keeping on the theme of Tubbyland Archives, our first one on Twitter is from Mystic Morgan. Can we expect Act 2 to be released in October? The reason I'm asking this is because the game looks scary as hell, and I feel it would only make sense to release it around Halloween.
Definitely not.
Man.
I'm honestly willing to bet that the game is not releasing this year. At the current pace that we're going, I would say it's probably going to be mid next year if I had to take a guess, but I don't want to set like any expectations, so don't take my word on that. We're just taking our time with it, and when it comes out, it'll come out. So
yeah, definitely take your time. Don't rush anything just because people like want to see it out. Like, I'm not saying everybody's like that, and just there are some people that are like, when's the game? It's like just be patient. So it'll come out. Just
games take time. Literally, Pyro Illusion has been in development since 2018 and is going on, I think, 5 years this year. So just relax. It's still in development. We're going to release it when it's ready.
I mean, Tears of the Kingdom took 6 years, and it was definitely worth the wait there. So. All right, our next one is from 3PO. What was your original reaction to FNAF as a whole?
That's a tough question. So I remember I heard about FNAF. First time I heard about it was in 6th grade, like from some friends, which it didn't really interest me then. What got me interested in the series is when I think it was my cousin Jack showed it to me, and like showed me a bunch of like, you know, those old Gmod animations and stuff, and like that's when I really got into it, and it just kind of evolved from there. So that's how I got into it. And as for my initial reactions, I wouldn't really be able to tell you because it's been so long that I would have just forgot. But yeah, that's when I got into it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll never forget how I got into it. My friend Tripster60, who I'm still in contact with to this day, back in this is back in 2014. He was like one of my only fans back then, and that was like, it was really nice of him to like support the channel. This is like 2014 when my videos were like awful and laggy and like really bad, and so yeah, he dared me to play FNAF one day. He was like, I dare you to play Five Nights at Freddy's. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And there we go. That's where it started. And here I am, 10 years later almost. Which is freaking crazy. It's been that long. I mean, I think that was coming up on 9 years ago that I first played FNAF. Isn't that insane? It's going to be 9 years old this year. As
you're saying this, I'm trying to calculate how old I would have been when I found out about it, which was 2014 back when it came out. So 2014.
I was 16, I think. Yeah, I would have been 16.
So I was born in 2000. Okay, so 2003. Or wait, hold on. 2014 minus 2003, I would have been 11. Jesus fucking Christ.
Man, yeah. So I was, yeah, I know a lot of people.
Pardon my French. Sorry, I don't know what's allowed to be said on here.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember like there were people that I know that were like there's a guy in the guy in my server, Damien, who I interviewed on this podcast a couple months ago. He said he was like 9 when like he first like discovered it, and then
yeah, it's definitely like. A lot of people definitely found it between the age range of maybe like 9 to 13 back then. Like I said, I found it when I was 11, and I'm turning 20 this year. I literally became a woman, I became a grown woman in the time that I have been with this series. So that's kind of surreal to me, but
yeah, no, it's crazy. All right, our next one is from Dudu. They have 4 questions as well. Sure. The first one is, are the mini-games in the Tubbyland Archives Act 2 going to be more complex than Act 1?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then he says, what is your favorite aspect about Act 2? I guess from what has been made so far.
So from what's been made so far, that's a tough... Favorite aspect? Definitely the character models. Chrissy did insane with them. Like, you would not... So, let me put this into perspective. Nunu looks like a Lovecraftian nightmare creature that could have been... That could genuinely be part of, like, Resident Evil. Like,
oh, man.
Maybe 7. And that's how insane the model looks. And the character designs, I think, are definitely the strongest part of the game, because they definitely leave an impression on you, and I think she really nailed them in that regard. Also, honey, if you're listening to this, hi, I love you. But yeah, so there's that's I would say that's the strongest aspect for me in regards to Act 2. I guess I'll go ahead and knock out Act 1 as well, because might as well, the game's been out for a while. I'd say the strongest part that me specifically having I'd say, like, because I coded the main gameplay and stuff, I'd say the strongest aspect for me is just that was the first time I really made a gameplay loop that I think is 100% fair while also still being difficult, and I'm very proud of that aspect, especially with the update we just released that completely recodes the breakers. So yeah.
I remember, like, yeah, Tubbyland Archives Act 1 is one of the most difficult fan games I've played in a long time, but it's funny because while it's very, very difficult, it's not unfair. It's just you have to be really, like, you have to pay attention, you have to be in a rhythm, and, you know, once you get it, you get it, but, like, yeah, it's not luck-based in any way. It's very specific, but that's what I appreciate about it. I appreciate games that are difficult, but, like, not unfair, and that's exactly what Act 1 is.
And for context, we tested that game for, like, 3 months before it came out. So, yeah.
All right, and then his third question is, does Act 2 have a certain theme, anxiety, trauma?
Purple. That's really the only way I know how to describe it. So Act 1's theme was red, Act 2's is purple, Act 3's will be yellow, and Act 4's will be green. And if you paid attention to that, you'll notice that the color themes for each game spell out PTLD.
Very
because
interesting.
Red is Poe, purple is Tinky, yellow is Lala, and green is Dipsy. And that was very much unintentional, but we're rolling with it.
Okay. I think it could either be that, or I guess he was also asking if there was, like, a theme, as in, like...
Well, I know what he was asking, but...
Oh, you know what he was asking, okay.
That's really the only answer to it. There's not really a specific theme we're approaching. It's basically just a FNAF 4 type scenario.
Okay.
That's all there really is to it. There's not any specific theme with it.
Okay, gotcha. That's understandable. All right, and their last one is, how's your day so far?
It's been good. It's been slow. I've just been kind of hanging around and doing developer stuff, literally as if I do anything else. But yeah.
All right, our next one is from Yordashin Smortison. What's the most bizarre fan game you've ever played? Also, have you found the elusive steak yet?
Okay, so to answer the first question, I wish. Or, well, not the first question, the second question, but I wish. Second of all, oh god, what was the first question? I'm sorry, I blanked.
What was the most bizarre fan game you've ever played?
I've ever played, right. Most bizarre fan game? God, that's a fucking question. I mean, bizarre in what regard? Like, that's way too not specific. I guess bizarre in just how weird it is.
Yeah, I would assume that's what he means.
Oh god, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I guess just... I'll tell you the most bizarre one I've seen, which is fucking Ultra Custom Night, or whatever it's called, that has like 600 characters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like, that game is fucking ridiculous.
Is it even, like, playable? Does the game work if there's that many characters?
It works! It's not beatable, I don't think. But it works!
That is insane. What do they make it in?
You're not gonna believe me when I say this. It's Click Team.
Are a lot of the characters, like, pixels? Like, how do they make that work with that amount of file size that you need?
They definitely had to have them at, like, a super low scale, and I doubt there's, like, any animation quality put into it. But don't take my word for that, because I haven't really seen the game. I've only heard of it. But, yeah, it's a game. It exists. It's definitely the most bizarre thing I've seen come from this community.
That is crazy. For me, I would say that Five Nights at 39 is probably the most bizarre game.
Oh god, I don't want to think about that game.
Yeah, I have it. I played it on the channel, and it's there. And I still don't know if I regret it to this day or not.
Given the content that's within the game, which I don't know how the fuck they still thought that was a good idea to put on Game Jolt, let alone for people to see, like, especially considering Game Jolt is mostly comprised of minors, I'm gonna say that should be a regret, because Jesus fucking Christ, what were they thinking?
Yeah, it's obviously meant to be like a joke game, and hey, 39 is a cool guy.
Obviously, but even still, it's just like, what the fuck? fuck were you thinking?
I don't know, but like, 39's a cool guy. I would say that he, I don't know, maybe he didn't think that a lot of kids were gonna play it, but they did.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna wager that he just didn't think it through fully. But yeah, that's just definitely an situation.
Yeah. But I think there was a second game planned. He was gonna make a second one.
Yeah, there was a second one,
and then he
I don't think it ever
it.
came out though.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Our next one is from the Cool Kid on the Street. How has working on Act 2 been so far?
It's been slow. We've definitely gotten a lot of good stuff done that we're really proud of, but we're trying to figure out the right approach to take with it going forward, because we've had some development complications with it. Because we've definitely had a few bumps during development, but that's okay, because that's to be expected with a series this big, in terms of just like how many games there's going to be. But we're just trying to find the right approach with it. But it's been slow but good so far.
Okay, gotcha. All right, our next questions are from Lucina. The first question is pretty similar to one of the first questions we asked earlier. How are progress on all of your projects going? Which I think you did answer earlier.
Also, hi Lucina. That's the composer for Chica's Party World Rebaked.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
And then she also asks, how's life?
Definitely all over the place, but I'm holding together. So,
yeah, I think that's a lot of people these days.
That's all I can really respond to that with. It's just been kind of all over the place, but I'm holding together. Things have definitely gotten better, but it's just, I'm kind of trying to see where it's going right now.
Yeah, that's understandable. All right, our next one is from the Zonk. What's your favorite Tubbyland character?
Oh, God. Okay. Archives PTLD, absolutely. That design is just so fucking strong in terms of just like its presence, I feel like. But the original series, definitely I think Dipsy from the first game. I've always really liked Dipsy. Which, same case for Archives. I really like Dipsy's design out of the main 4 in Archives, too.
I love his design in Archives. Yeah, I do, too. He's great. And the way that, like, when the power goes out in Night 6, you can, like, see his, like, eye in the door. I love that. It was great.
Which, fun fact, that enhancing his mechanic... Oh, excuse me. But that enhancing his mechanic, the power outage thing, that was actually completely unintentional. I didn't think it would make his mechanic harder, but I'm very happy it played out that way.
I did not know that was unintentional.
Yeah, no, that was completely unintentional. It was just supposed to be a cool visual effect. I didn't intend for it to make his mechanic harder, but it definitely worked.
So, a happy accident, so to speak.
Yeah, happy accident.
All right, our next question is from Pedro Henrique SJ. How long is Act 2?
Little bit longer than the first game, but not by much.
Gotcha. I would say, like, would you say that I technically finished the first game if I beat up to Night 6? Because I know that there's Night X and then there's the Max.
Night X is canon, so in order to finish the first game fully, yes, you would have to have beaten that. But if you beat Night X and Nights 1 through 6, then yes, you've pretty much finished the events of Act 1, because Custom Night is not canon, but the cutscene after Max Mode is. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to that.
Well, maybe I have to go back at some point and beat Night X, because I don't know why. I can never come to terms with how Night X worked. People were telling me in the chat how to do it, and I still couldn't fathom it. So
it's really not that hard. I could give you some tips if you'd like, because it's really just essentially playing a game of Ring Around the Rosie with PTLD.
Right.
But yeah, if you ever decide to come back to that, I could totally give you some tips on it.
Okay.
I think it also got semi easier with the updates that we did. So I don't know. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind if I decide to go back to it. I mean, I found my way back to 5 Shows at Wario's director's cut, so if I can go back to that, maybe I can go back to Tubbyland Archives too. So.
Fair enough.
All right, our next questions are from Beta Dipsy Gipsy. That's an interesting name.
Nice.
Yeah. So 5 questions. The first one is, what got you into Five Nights at Tubbyland?
Game Salmon, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yep. Sam was my introduction to it, and I am forever grateful for it. But
it seems like he got a lot of people into it.
Yeah, he was definitely the entry point for I feel like most people. And you know, I found the series through him because that was also when I was really getting into his channel, and that had to have been back in I think he had just played the second game. So that was 2015. Jesus. But yeah, that's how I got into it.
Yeah, I found Sam through Wario's 3, I think.
I think I found Sam through, of all things, fucking Five Nights at Thomas's.
Oh. Out of all the things.
Out of all the things.
I wish he would bring back the Pokemon streams on his channel. I remember going to those all the time.
I remember him doing a lot of those. I never really tuned into them, but I remember he used to do those a lot.
Well, I tuned into them because like that was really the only time that you could really like just like talk with them. Like it felt like one-on-one because it was like very personalized. And he does that sometimes on Twitch now, but like not very often. But,
yeah.
But yeah. I still watch him occasionally. I just don't watch a lot of YouTubers anymore in general. I'm just very busy. But I'll still tune into some videos every now and then. I'll still watch Corey. I'll still watch Dashy, and I watch Point Crow a lot nowadays. He's a Zelda tuber, and but yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that guy.
Yeah, if you want to watch funny Breath of the Wild mods, he's the guy to go to. All right, next one from Beta Dipsy Gipsy is, what's your favorite fan game, including yours?
Okay, so favorite fan game overall, definitely Pyro Illusion. Just because that game means so... Not only do I just really fucking enjoy it, but that game means so much to me from just a personal standpoint. Because it's arguably what got me into game development. Like that kick-started me getting into game development, because that's when I picked up modeling. And like it taught me a lot about just my art style overall, and I met a lot of really good friends through it. Obviously Dan, who's the creator of it, and just a lot of other people working on it, and it's really fucking fun. I'm very excited to see when that eventually comes out, because it's still in the works despite what some people may think.
I want to play
and
it.
As for the favorite, oh god, if I had to pick, god, it's like asking me to choose between my children. Fuck. I don't necessarily have a favorite game that I've worked on, because I feel like it wouldn't really be fair to any of the other ones if I did have a favorite game that I've worked on. I would say I have favorites, but I don't have a specific favorite. Which my 2 favorites that I have worked on are definitely Chica's Party World Rebaked and the Cog Forever Spinning. In terms, in terms of just personal projects, I don't really qualify Archives as that, since that's a bigger team. Our Archives is just its own complete category, but in terms of things that are very personal to me, definitely Chica's Party World Rebaked and the Cog Forever Spinning.
Gotcha. I think it would be biased for me to say that Bud's Rebooted is my favorite. It's like it's just. I
wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. But in terms of like, you know, fan games in general, like, oh, there's so many good ones. I think Five Nights at Max Night 2 Remastered probably is one of my favorites. And it's pretty simple, probably one of the easier fan games, but it's just, I like the way it plays, I like the visuals.
I wasn't really into the second one as much as I was the original, just because I didn't like how a lot of the mechanics were changed in it. I feel like you could have definitely re-implemented a lot of the original mechanics in ways that would have worked, but it's still still a very good attempt regardless. It's good in its own right, I think.
Yeah, I think Mickey's main goal is to make it stand out compared to the rest of the series, and I think he definitely achieved that. It's definitely got its own identity now.
It does have its own identity, but I feel like from a mechanics standpoint, it's very similar to the third game, I noticed. Because like the water could be equated to the doors, and the vent system could be equated to a Hamburglar trying to get up on those ladders and you using the water to push him out. And I feel like it could have been executed better overall. It's not bad by any means, but that's just my personal stance on it.
Right, and speaking, I mean, Mach 3 is another really fun one to me.
Mach 3 is really cool.
Fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, I actually was a big part in coming up with those mechanics in Mach 3.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was part of the dev team. Not only was I the phone guy, but I also helped with the mechanics.
Yeah, I know you were the phone guy.
Well, I came up with Hamburglar going up the ladders into the ceiling. I came up with that. I came up with, I don't remember if I came up with the water mechanic specifically. I think I came up with Grimacy's mechanic too with the floodlights. I'm pretty sure I came up with that.
Grimacy with you flash when, yeah.
Right. And I think I'm pretty sure I wrote the phone calls. I know I wrote the phone calls in Mach 2 Remastered. I don't remember if I did it in 3, but I don't know if you knew that. But I actually wrote the phone calls for those games. Cool. Yeah.
I feel like that must be easier for you too, because you could make it very personalized to you since you're recording it. Yes,
and that added in. If you remember the Night 6 call in Mach 2 Remastered, where like I get really mad. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was very fun.
But yeah, I feel like Bud's Rebooted being a contender for your favorite fan game. Even if it may seem like bias, I feel like that makes a lot of sense considering that's a very personal project to you, and I imagine it definitely means a lot. Considering, people went out of their way to want to work on something that's themed around you. And not just you, but a lot of your close friends, and that's really, really cool. Like, that's very special.
It is, yeah. And I mean, Mickey worked so freaking hard on that thing, and I tell a lot of people about this. I still remember when he was coding Pigsty's Beat Saber mechanic. When he was trying to figure out how to make those arrows work, like that man sat there for so long. I was at a call with him when he was trying to like figure out the coding for that, and I sat there watching him do it, and my God, I felt so bad for him. Like I was like, oh my, this looks so headache. It was giving me a headache just watching him try and do it. But
yeah, that's game development, unfortunately, in some regards. But
he made it work.
I imagine that was definitely hard to figure out at first.
No, he made it work, and it worked out really well, and it's a really fun mechanic, and so
it would be really neat to see like kind of like a small like visual update to Buds. Maybe, sorry, have burps, but I think it would be really cool to see like an update to Buds at some point, because I think it could definitely do with that. Because it is really strong overall, and if it had like a little more visual polish, I feel like it could be really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but maybe it will at some point. Who knows?
Maybe. Never hurts to hope.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, back to Beta Dipsy Gipsy's questions.
Yeah, sorry, we got really off topic.
A little bit of a tangent. All right, so the next one is, when did you start coding? You mentioned that was back in, what, 2018?
I already answered that, yeah. It was 2021, January.
Oh, okay.
Because I started game development properly in 2018, but I didn't start coding until 2021.
Okay, gotcha. The next one is, any reason for the creation of your fan games, like Chica's Party World, Cog Forever Spinning, Automation, etc.?
Well, a lot of the remakes come from just a love of the original and wanting to see them, at their best in terms of just execution and concept overall. Like, the reason we're working on Chica's Rebaked is because me and Rose really believe in the concept and we want to see it come to fruition. And it's funny because Chica's Rebaked is arguably less of a remake and more, this is what we want the game to be. This is, because the original never released properly, it only had a demo. So this is more so the actual release of the game, which is really funny to think about. And it's gone through at least 5 different revisions, which is insane.
Wow.
Because this has been in development arguably since 2018. So yeah, a lot of it is just for the remakes specifically, it's just love of the original and wanting to see them at their best. And for things like They're Alive, it's putting my own spin on a series that I love and just reinterpreting it in different ways. And then for a lot of my own projects, it's more so just things that I think would be cool. Like I'm talking, when I say my own projects, I mean like my own projects, like things like the Cog Forever Spinning, which is not a it's not a fan game of another fan game or a remake of someone else's game. It's my game. And so it's very just like things I think would be cool. I got a lot of help from my friend Hilda for the story writing, but in regards to most of everything else, that was pretty much me. And you know, it's just like for Cog specifically, I thought that the original 80s was alright, but it could always be better, and so that's why I basically started trying to remake it immediately after it came out, and that led to where it is now, which is definitely, I think, the best version of the game. I think this is, I'm very excited for Cog. I'm very excited to see how people react to it, because it's something that's very personal to me, and it means a lot, and I'm definitely very excited for people to experience it whenever it comes to fruition fully, because we've really been putting our all into it. And same goes for everything else that I'm working on with other friends. So yeah.
Gotcha. I'm really interested to play Cog. That looks really cool. I mean, I was looking on the game page for it actually earlier, and just looking at the screenshots, I was like, dang, this looks freaking clean. So
Thank you.
So I'm really interested in playing. It's probably gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then the last one from Beta Dipsy Gipsy. I just like saying that name. That's a fun name to say.
It definitely flows off the tongue really well.
It does. How is your rabbit?
Oh, my rabbits, they're doing really, really, really good. I need to clip their nails, but that's about it. But yeah, they're doing good. They're chilling right now. Let me see if I can see them. Yeah, they're just laying down right now. But yeah, they're doing good. I'm surprised people are asking about them, but yeah.
Hey, I mean, at least, yeah, there's people like pets, so they want to know about the pets.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then our last ones on Twitter are from the New Farland Zone. They have 3 questions. The first one, I think you've answered already. What's your favorite FNAF fan game? You said that was Pyro Illusion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what got you into FNAF? You answered that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, was there anything scrapped for Tubbyland Archives Act 1?
Dear fucking god, where do I even start?
Sounds like there was a lot.
That's putting it lightly. The game went through at least 5 different revisions before we settled on the final one. Some of which were coded, others were not. I think only 2 specifically were coded out of those 5 revisions. Act 1 in Chica's definitely had a very similar dev process. Granted, Act 1 was definitely a shorter dev time than Chica's. But yeah, I went through at least 5 different revisions, which is fun. You can find a lot of the cut content on the wiki. I think there's a lot of it on the wiki. But yeah, there's a lot of cut content. Like saying it's like saying there's a bit would be putting it lightly.
Okay, well, if anybody wants to know what the cut content was, go and check out the wiki. All right, and last but not least, we're moving on to our Discord questions. Our first one is from Damien Gamer 727, the homie. How did you get into game development? And you said that what game did you say it was?
Oh god, okay, well, the game that got me into fan game development specifically was Pyro Illusion, but really I've been developing stuff, not specifically fan games, but just stuff as a whole since I was since Minecraft on the Xbox 360 came out. And I know that's very specific, but I used to make a lot of stuff on Minecraft. That was basically what got me, that was basically my segue into game development, because I started off doing basic redstone on the Xbox stuff, and by basic I mean incredibly intricate shit before I graduated to command blocks on computer, and then after that, that's when I started getting into actual coding with like ClickTeam and stuff, and that led me to where I am today, where eventually I want to get into Unreal Engine, which I think would be really fun, but as it is right now, I'm still working in ClickTeam, which I'm fine with because I really enjoy ClickTeam. But yeah.
All right, gotcha. Our next question is from Tronic. Do you actually like cats, or is it just part of your username? I think they're referring to your Twitter username.
I have 3 cats. I have
three.
I
okay.
Have 3. Yeah. But yes, I very much like cats. I don't have a preference in terms of just, you know, the animals in general. I like both cats and dogs. Cats are definitely easier to take care of, but I like them both equally in terms of just overall. But yes, I like cats, and I have 3 of them. So.
All right. Next one is from Fusion. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
I'm indifferent to it. It really depends on how it's done. I had it recently, but the pizza itself wasn't that great. That wasn't the fault of the pineapple necessarily. But I'm indifferent to it. It really depends on the pizza.
Yeah, I personally don't like that. I mean, I'm weird in this case. Like, there's a lot
of... It's an acquired taste.
Well, the thing is, it's that I like the taste of pineapple, but I don't like the texture, and that's a lot of fruit.
That is entirely fair.
Yeah, I like a lot of fruit flavor. Like, I love grape, I love orange, lemon, like strawberry, like watermelon. Like, I like all the flavors. Like, I'll drink a smoothie like any day. Like, you put a bunch of fruit in a smoothie, I'll drink it. But the texture of it, like biting into an apple or like into a strawberry or whatever, it's like I just can't do the texture.
That's very understandable.
Yeah, and so that right there is why I'm not a fan of pineapple pizza, because it's just the texture of it would ruin the pizza for me. But the concept of it, there's some people that think it's sacrilegious. I'm just like, I don't know why. Like, it's, if you want to put pineapple on a pizza, then go ahead. I don't know, like, if
I mean, it's not. I've seen people who have put egg on pizzas. Like, it's not. Pineapple is the least offensive thing out there. And honestly, I think it balances pretty well with just the general flavors of it, because you've got like this nice citrusy sweetness that contrasts really well with the saltiness of the rest of it, and I think it's cool. But I can definitely understand why it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Right, and I remember there's this pizza place that I went to during my childhood after soccer games, mostly, called CC's, and they
CC's.
Oh, you know CC's?
Yeah, they do. We used to have a ton of them in Florida. I'm pretty sure there's still a lot around here. I've been to the biggest one in the state before it shut down, unfortunately. But yeah.
But CC's had macaroni and cheese pizza, and I remember eating that and thinking it was like the best thing ever, because I was like 8. But you know, there can be a lot of weird things on pizza. I mean, like, people put like sardines on pizza, which,
yeah,
you know, if you ask me, I think that's more sacrilegious than pineapple on pizza. But
I mean, it's fish. Fish is just another type of meat. I don't think that's too weird, but
yeah, that's true. I just think sardines in general.
I don't take my word for it. I haven't tried sardines.
Yeah, sardines just repulse me. And they're probably not bad. There's just the concept of them are just like little salty fish. It's just, yeah. Like, I don't know. I just give me like a catfish fillet. I'd rather that. But
fair enough.
All right, our next one is from Tricia. Do you have a favorite indie game?
Oh. Okay, well, I'm not gonna say Five Nights at Freddy's. Because obviously that's an indie game. And even though most of, if not all of my content... Oh, excuse me. Even though most, if not all of my content is FNAF related, I wouldn't call FNAF my favorite necessarily, just because I do have my own problems with the series, even though I do really enjoy it. If I had to pick a favorite... favorite indie game. I mean, I can tell you my favorite indie developer, which is Micro Horror Arcade or Jay Beam.
Oh, dude, I love Jay. I love Jay.
Yep.
He's awesome.
Yep, he's awesome. He's made a lot of stuff I really, really enjoy. And I a while back, I actually did I made like concept art, which he didn't use, but I made some concept art for like Boofy's Bunker 2.0, which I'm still really proud of. But yeah, no, I'm really invested in Jay's projects. I'd say if I have a favorite indie game... Actually, yeah, fuck it. I'll go ahead and say it. Boofy's Bunker. I really like Boofy's Bunker. But, yeah.
Hey, that's a good one. I've played it.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is from Willie. I almost said Wiley again. All right, Willie, I'm sorry, man. Like Willie Dog has like been a guy I've been friends with for a while, and I keep on pronouncing his name as Wiley Dog. I don't know why. Like my brain it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's Willie, not Wiley brain. Anyway, our next one is from Willie. Favorite childhood game by any chance?
Plants vs. Zombies 1.
Yes, based. I love that game. Oh, that's so good.
That's the first ever PC gameplay I ever played, and I still go back to it to this day.
Oh, it's such a good game. I love that game so much. The second one is hit or miss.
Second one started off strong, definitely went downhill, especially with George Fan leaving. Or I guess being fired, however you want to look at it. But yeah.
And EA just completely ruined it with the in-app purchases too. It's like,
oh god, I don't want to.
Just like there's some levels you can't beat without like purchasing a bunch of plant food or like premium plants or whatever. It's really.
I don't go back to 2 at all. I do really enjoy 1 though.
Yeah, the first one is one of the greatest games of all time. Honestly, I have no problem with saying that.
Yeah.
All right, next one is from Vinch. What are your inspirations for game development? Have you answered that already?
It really depends on what you're asking about, because like there's not really a set answer for that. I mean, I take inspiration from a lot of things, but it's just like you you have to be more specific with questions like that, because you're like I mean, obviously I take inspiration from things, but like what specifically are you asking about? Because I take I take inspiration from a lot of things. So there's not one specific thing. But I guess just if I had to pick one inspiration as a whole, just the ability to create is a very important thing. It's a very powerful thing. And being able to put your ideas out there into the world is a very it's cool. It's awesome. I love doing it, and I love making things for me and my friends. And if other people enjoy those things, then that's cool. If they don't, then that's fine. But you know, just the ability to like create something and put it out there for people to see is just really fucking cool, man. I really enjoy it, and I'm happy that there's a lot of people out there who enjoy what I do. So yeah.
Gotcha. Our next one is from Morph. I usually call him Morph on Discord. I don't know how this is pronounced, like Morpho. I think it's Morpho. Pretty sure.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. How is thy day? And then used the Doge emoji.
It's like I said, it's okay. It's been really slow, but yeah, it's going okay.
All right.
Adrenaline is starting to wear off, so that's nice.
Yeah, eventually it does.
All
right, next one is from Tidy Official. What do you think of horror in general?
Horror is a very interesting, because it's interesting to see how others. Because one of my favorite reasons why I love horror as a whole is because everyone reacts differently to horror, and it's very fun seeing how people react to different things. Like some people laugh at horror, some people scream at horror, some people shit their pants. Like it's always so interesting seeing how people react to things that you come up with. And personally, I love horror. It's my favorite subject. I think horror works exceptionally well when paired with other things too. Like I love horror paired with comedy. That's one of my favorite combinations. And it's just, yeah, it's just fun seeing how people react to scary things. But yeah.
Yeah, and that isn't limited to just games. I mean, like horror movies.
No, it's
and stuff
not.
like
It's not
that.
limited
Yeah.
to just games at all. I'm just talking in general.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, horror can expand to multiple different things, and I would agree with that sentiment, saying like, you know, it's cool seeing everybody's reactions. Like, say like, you know, you watch the new Halloween movie and then you go around and like see how everyone else reacted to it, and it's really fun to see that. But like here on YouTube, like all the horror games, but there's also you ever heard of Mr. Nightmare?
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't?
Yeah, Mr. Nightmare, like he uploaded a new story video today, and I was listening to it. It's gas station horror stories. But gosh, I've been listening to him for so long. But it's like I always put like horror stories on like in the car or when I'm walking. Like it's just fun to listen to that. But it's just awesome how far out horror can stretch, from that to games to movies to music to all sorts of things. So it's...
Hey, not just that, but that just goes for anything too, because the way like concepts as a whole can just be stretched across so many different things is really fun to see. And it's definitely nice seeing how people react to those things, and also just seeing how people reinterpret those things as well.
Yep. All right, next one is from Robster. What game would you like to voice act in?
Oh, that's hard. I've never been asked this before. Fuck. That's a tough one. I mean, I technically got that wish with an upcoming thing that's coming very soon. For one of them. But God, if I had to pick another one, I don't even know. I really don't. I mean, voicing in the Fangs remake, like the Five Nights at Fangs remake, would be really cool. I would really like that. That would be fun. But yeah, no, that's a very hard question to answer, because most things I want to voice in, I'm already voicing in. But yeah,
The Things. Can you? Well, I don't think I've heard of that one.
What?
I don't think the Things. I don't think I've heard of that.
Oh no, I said that, no, like like I'm talking like things as in like the projects I voice on.
Oh, okay. Well, you said I thought you said the Things remake. That's what I thought.
No,
you said.
No. I said the Five Nights at Fangs remake, like FANG.
Oh, Fangs. I thought you said Things, and I was like,
no, sorry,
oh.
I pronounce things weirdly. But yeah, that's a game I would be interested in voicing in. But as for everything else, it's just like, you know, everything that I voice in is something I'm interested in voicing in. So yeah.
All right. Next one is from Zig Zany. Do you know of Alex Vance, the deuterologist of Half-Life 2 and its episodes?
Oh my god, I've gotten this fucking joke so much. Haven't heard that one before. But yes, I have. I actually really enjoy Half-Life. I'm not even mad about... I'm not mad whenever people make that joke. It is a little annoying sometimes, but I do really love Half-Life. And no, the joke was not intentional. But yeah.
Yeah, I having played the original I actually played the Black Mesa fan remake, which is...
I really want to play Black Mesa. I'm probably going to use my next paycheck to buy it.
Yeah, it's good. Having played it, it's definitely good. And then Half-Life 2 was awesome, and I have yet to play Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and 2, but I'll hopefully get to that at some point.
I haven't played those two, but I've definitely played Half-Life 2. I think Half-Life 2 drags on for too long.
It is a little long.
That's my problem with it.
Yeah.
But, like, it definitely overstays its welcome, but I still enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, maybe if there's a remake, maybe if they make a Black Mesa 2.
It's weird to think that it would have been longer, too.
Yeah, I know. Oh, the biggest question is, will we ever get a Half-Life 3? Nobody knows.
I'd like to think that yes, and technically we've already gotten 3 because, you know, Half-Life Alyx.
Right.
Even though it's not technically 3, it still kind of is 3.
Yeah, sort of.
And there's definite, like, they're always, like, them doing a Half-Life 3 is 100% confirmed, and even if Valve themselves don't do it, someone else will, you know? But it's like, yes, there will be a Half-Life 3. They're going to make it, and you want to know why? It's because they make it. Not only do they probably want to make it, but it also makes them money.
Yes.
So,
I mean, it'll break the internet. It'll break the internet if they make a third one. So.
Like, that's going to be the most hyped fucking game of all time. It already is.
Yeah, and it's not even confirmed yet.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least, we have Mr. Waffles. What is a favorite childhood show of yours?
Ooh, that's a good question. Regular show, that's a big one. Any other shows? I'm mostly gonna be listing off like Cartoon Network shows. So like Chowder, regular show. I didn't watch much of Ed, Edd n Eddy, but I do like what I saw of it. People are gonna kill me for this one, but I enjoyed Teen Titans Go. In terms of any other ones, this isn't a childhood show, but I still like this show, which is Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I go back to those two constantly. But yeah, I don't do shows very often, but when I get into them, I really get into them.
Right.
But yeah, I guess that's all the questions.
Yeah, it is. I would say Phineas and Ferb, one of my favorite.
Ooh, good
shows.
pick.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, that finishes out all the questions. Thank you all for coming out and dropping those. Again, if you want to have your questions in future episodes, keep an eye out for my social media things. Alex, great to have you on. I'm going to link all of your stuff in the description. I'll probably link your YouTube and your Game Jolt and your Twitter.
Sorry if I wasn't very good at answering the questions.
No,
like I
you were
said,
fine.
I haven't done this in a long time.
You were fine.
So.
But yeah, and I'll also link, linking your Game Jolt so people can check out all of your games. Go follow Cog Forever Spinning. Go follow Tubbyland Archives Act 1 and 2 if you haven't done all that. And we'll keep an eye out for those games.
I'm also plugging Chica's Party World Rebaked.
Yes, that too. Yeah, I'll definitely be playing that when it comes out for sure.
Which that's going to be soon. That's definitely going to be this year.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for listening. Be sure to check out all the links for Alex, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Hopefully, it won't be too much from now. Have a good morning, good afternoon, or evening. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye.